for Israel. Why is there endless, pointless violence and hatred in biblical lands between one another? Poverty and repression stew a bitter bile of hatred and misunderstanding that has no means of finding something more positive to do. I don't know why hatred bites so deeply and hangs on so tenaciously, except that it is worse when we know we are right. Between themselves, they have turned paradise into a hell of repression and terror, and the question is what may be done to turn hatred to happy. A Muslim blows herself up among some Jews, and a tank runs over somebody's house, and a cycle of violence plays out on the nightly news. For the chain to break, both sides must be fed up and ready for a change. There could instead be a gem by the sea, a commercial, multicultural crossroads, seat of learning, education, literature, and the arts, with fertile fields and booming industry, and a job for who wants one, Muslim and Jew. It can happen overnight, like the cool breeze from the sea, kissing people and opening their minds, releasing their hatred, increasing compassion with a real desire for a better world for their children and some dignity in it for all. People are looking at Scripture and divining imperatives for Allah/God, will for her chosen people to oppress and terrorize as the leaders command in her name, neither side willing to compromise and follow the tenets of their respective faiths. It is a country of pain. The pain is so raw and comes daily in waves to every soul on all sides. To overcome this pain is as difficult as quitting heroin or losing a lover. It is a journey we must begin by loving and forgiving ourselves first. Compassion begins at home. If we can recognize our own responsibility for ourselves and our actions, we can also see others face the same task. With practice, we can easily feel compassion for children, friends, and loved ones. The beauty of compassion is that it is so easy. Compassion brings understanding, heals mental wounds and suffering. It sees what is, and also what could happen if every person had her dignity and a chance to live and work and be free. You may think compassion is for the weak, but no, it makes one strong. And one's problems diminish and fortunes improve by the practice. When we see our lives and the affairs of the world with eyes of compassion, we see every wrong righted. The ticket out of oppression and terror is to lose the P word and the I word and be one nation indivisible with a strictly secular form of government. It seems impossible that there could be peace, and it's true governments will never negotiate or enforce it in 1,000 years. Only universal awakening to compassion will enable people to heal and move forward to universal prosperity. Compassion kicks hatred's ass. Hate is a vile loser emotion that blinds and cripples us, coloring our thoughts and causing unproductive actions that are invariably negative to our best interests. Overcoming pain and hatred is the same daily task. In this case, I am so bold to state that the Jews are the less aggrieved people for a change, and must make the first move for peace. Instead of fencing out their brethren, they must set them free and embrace them as family, as though they were from Russia or Poland. It is a complex deal requiring trust, but it may work like this. Hostilities cease. National secular government is instituted. Refugees are repatriated, and with international contributions settled, trained, and educated to become healthy, proud, productive citizens. Peace is negotiated with hostile neighbors, massive expenditures made on infrastructure so that people can work and live and have water and power and transportation, and with that they will prosper, each to her own potential, and all creating a national prosperity. Jews are few and Muslims are many, so it is a challenge to create a state that protects minority rights. And this may only be done if both sides can come out from under the past perceptions and build an equitable present for everyone. This doesn't mean all will be wealthy. No, that can only come in time. It only means that people are safe, regardless of religion, and free to work, travel, and associate as they please, to prosper if they may, or struggle on in poverty. The only certainty is that everyone will be immediately, personally better off. Presently, way too much effort nationally is spent hating and scheming each against the other side. All this mental and emotional energy may be turned to productivity. You don't have to love everyone so much as not hate and fear them. Respect them, not repress them. Contrast them, not terrorize them. Instead, educate each other so that slowly we learn that faiths can be strong and still coexist. Hatred and mistrust are the greatest barrier to peace, but a close second is money. 1,000 fists clench fiefdoms in the present economies in both camps. These hands must open enough to kickstart the pulse of a vibrant national economy. But how to begin? This is the question. My suggestion is for the Jews to build a mosque in Israel of modern and magnificent construction and, of course, of Muslim design as a token of reconciliation and the seed of a tourist economy. Once the terror ends, the little things will work themselves out and the people will find their place in a free country and an open market economy. It can only work out if any Muslim from anywhere is welcome to come to the Holy Land. I write this as an American who has lived free with no contact or regard for the United States government, especially revolted by its conduct of foreign affairs. We too can use more compassion and understanding. The only hope for this world we live in is free movement of people, goods, and information across the planet in a safe, fast, and reliable manner, and to maintain our cultural advantages in doing so. This cannot be legislated, but only comes individually. Majority rule is only a rough way to sort things out. The minority must be respected and not bulldozed by the majority, just as tyrants and cartels must give way to a more representative government. But what is really important is the character and aspirations of people. A transformation of economies must be effected through the compassionate changes in people. It is in the character of devout people to sacrifice for the common good, and Muslim and Jew must share the burden that will be heavy to start but in time will vanish. These simple lines take account of the infinite complexity of the difficulties involved in making the change. All of them hinge on individual human compassion. We have to make collective decisions step by step with concern and understanding for the other side. So what's the deal? Is peace on earth and goodwill to others offensive to Allah/God? Is happy, prosperous life in the Holy Land mutually exclusive? Must what happened in the past continue to doom us forever to festering pain and grim hatred? The best vengeance is to live well and see your children better off than you were. The way to have dignity and respect from our neighbors is to have it for them, and not just grudging manners. What seems impossible can be with compassion and desire. As difficult as it may be to open the most shut-tight, long made-up minds, are there not even more difficult accomplishments made by people around the world every day? Doesn't modern medicine save lives? Industry create wealth? Civilization create culture? We work, we save, we pay taxes, and then what happens? The men in charge buy guns and tanks and bombs. That's it right there, the core of the problem, plain and simple. Budgetary priorities must come into line, and the world military-industrial complex must come in for close scrutiny. Poverty has causes deeper than government repression. Terror tactics have hurt Muslim far more than Jew in terms of dignified survival. Who can work at a job? Who can travel? Are children getting the education they deserve? Who thinks of anything but hatred? Who can get ahead under a Jewish government? It is ill-conceived and must be addressed as the root cause of the conflict, because it is fundamentally unfair in human terms. Ideologically based government is detrimental to its people and its neighbors by its rhetoric and its actions. Peace will require a heroic feat of statecraft, a constitutional document the likes of which has never been seen. It must empower all the people equally, but yet safely protect the rights of minority Jews and Christians. The cause is doomed if there are scriptural objections to cooperative secular government. Both sides might like to go back to another era when things were more to their liking, but it's the future that lies before them. The place for religion is in a person's heart, home, and community, as they so choose to practice. Ideal government treats all citizens alike and is instituted for their benefit ultimately. Language of government is a knotty problem for sure. Hebrew is clearly unfair, as is Arabic for that matter. Both are subtle political tongues that put non-native speakers at a serious disadvantage. The alternative is a third language, which isn't great, or dual languages with simultaneous translation. Pride and resentment are obstacles to communication between Muslim and Jew, especially at a personal level. Each looks at the other in dehumanizing terms and steels her heart against them. This must break down one smile at a time, one deed of compassion. Yours. When there is peace, it will be because no one has the upper hand. Domestic constituencies will be serviced equally without regard for religion, and every religion will be respected by every person because they are free to worship as they choose. Perhaps the most difficult of all is the matter of equal rights for women. Reading male domination into Scripture is intentional, but not inevitable. The plain fact is, women may be intelligent, capable, faithful when respected, and compassionate. For a society to prosper, it must fully utilize its resources, and its human ones most of all. Think carefully about the old ways that you cling to, that they may not drag you down. Holding on to down. Old ways had good reasons in old times, but times have changed. To cultural traditions and differences is most desirable to the extent that they are voluntary and not repressive in nature. When clerics and husbands enjoy power and privileges both personally and professionally, it is hard for them to let go. It is human nature to cling to our advantages, even when they unfairly disadvantage others. We are born equally, and we die more or less so in the end. In between, we must each have a chance to prosper without being stepped on by someone else. All faiths have those who would govern by the church if they could. I suggest that theocratic rule of any stripe holds nothing encouraging for honest working folk and free thinkers. Government in a deity's name has written a bloody trail across continents, cultures, and ages. Government affects these best by governing least, my friend. Islam views usury as an abomination, which indeed it can be if one is simple and signs something she doesn't understand. But wisely employed, interest on loans and deposits creates wealth and opportunity throughout the economy, the benefits of which spread out in all directions. A true prosperity is one where everyone is valued as an individual. Each producing as she is able is the key to a vibrant economy and the path out of poverty and marginalization for all oppressed peoples. Gentle reader, pray your clerics look inward and tend the lives and fortunes of his people. Do not accept poverty and indignity as Allah/God's will. It is not. Compassion's eyes pierce lies, and it is not difficult to see who is serving faithfully and who is a creature of foreign masters with interests far from your own. Do not give up, my beloved one. There is a plan for your life, family, education, and prosperity. Now it is written, burned, tattooed in your heart and your mind and your being. May it shoot straight into the DNA and the next generation. Kick those politicians, clerics, lobbyists, armsmongers, despots, and war profiteers where it hurts. Breath is life. Live.
Listen to your woman, but not closely.
Justice League America.